We are here at the hearing on the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and the essential ingredient we seem to be missing is the Manhattan District Attorney, which I guess, Mr. Roy, would be a lot like going to the Salt Lick Barbecue and not getting the moist brisket.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Alvin Bragg is missing? Say it isn't so. You have to hear boneheaded idiot Matt Gaetz compare New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg not being present in a hearing to missing out on a plate of juicy brisket at the Salt Lick restaurant. Hold on to your napkins because it's gonna get messy.
To Mr. Jordan's credit, great credit, he sent a letter to Mr. Bragg on May 31st inviting him to come participate, and we got sort of a nasty gram back from Mr. Bragg on June 7th. And in this letter, I'm gonna quote from it, Ms. Foley. Bragg says, "This office is committed to voluntary cooperation." Do you believe that?
No.
The letter continues, "That cooperation includes making the district attorney available to provide testimony on behalf of the office at an agreed upon date." Do you believe that?
In a dumbfounding move, Matt Gaetz tried to subpoena Donald Trump's New York City prosecutors, even though they had already agreed to show up. What the hell is he doing? Alvin Bragg is not missing, you numbskull. And doesn't the nastygram you're bringing up refer to a letter from the FEC to Donald Trump's presidential campaign flagging suspected illegal contributions? If that nonsense wasn't enough, Matt Gaetz kicked a hornet's nest net by dragging Hunter Biden right into the spotlight.
But they're not going to come because we ask. And they're not going to come because they say so. And we learned that by observing our dear friends at the Oversight Committee. Because this will surprise a lot of Americans. After hearing the enthusiasm around oversight of the Biden crime family, we never sent a subpoena to Hunter Biden to give live testimony before Congress. Let that sink in. The Republican House majority has never subpoenaed Hunter Biden for live testimony in public. We've never done it. And I worry that, we're going about the same kind of process here.
Gaetz expressed his fake outrage over Hunter Biden's recent conviction on federal gun charges, dismissing them as kind of dumb, and suggested that the focus should instead be on Hunter's business dealings. Criticizing the decision not to subpoena Hunter Biden, Gaetz argued that the Department of Justice should investigate the Biden family. He insinuated that the FBI might be protecting them. What a load of bull. By dragging Hunter Biden into the discussion, Gaetz slung mud, diverting attention and stirring up controversy during the hearing.
And I think you're right, Ms. Foley, that this is all professional wrestling. There's no real effort to bring these people to bear. So,
will the gentleman yield for a question?
One second, I got a motion. Mr. Chairman, I move under Committee Rule 4 and Clause 2M of House Rule 11 to require the attendance and testimony of Alvin Bragg and Matthew Colangelo on July 12th to discuss their involvement in the Trump prosecution, including their office's coordination with the Department of Justice.
As tensions ran high, Matt Gaetz made a bold yet stupid move. The committee, led by Jim Jordan, had already secured a promise from Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg to testify about Donald Trump's recent legal issues. Confused yet? Let me break it down. Imagine you're watching a drama-filled reality TV show. Matt Gaetz is like the contestant who stirs the pot by demanding that a couple of guests, Alvin Bragg and Matthew Colangelo, be forced to come to the show right away, even though they've already promised to show up in a future episode.
It's a little absurd because Mr. Bragg and Mr. Colangelo have already agreed to appear before the committee on July 12th. We have a letter to that effect. So there's no point requiring them to do what they've already said they're going to do. The committee asked them to appear. They asked them to appear today. They made the point that or Mr. Bragg, I should say, made the point that he didn't think he should appear before the sentencing on July 11th, but he'd be available thereafter. And he's agreed to come on July 12th.
The hosts of the show, Jim Jordan and Jerry Nadler, are not having it. They think Matt's being unreasonable since the guests have basically given their word. Things get so heated that they have to take a commercial break. After the break, Matt backs down, and the show goes on without forcing the guests to come early.
I'm going to deal with.
Let me finish.
I want to deal with Mr. Gaetz' motion, then we'll take your unanimous consent. Mr. Bragg and Mr. Colangelo have agreed to come on the 12th. If they don't show up on the 12th, they will be subpoenaed. So I would ask the gentleman if he could could withdraw the motion, they're coming. We worked hard over the weekend to make sure they're coming. And if they change their mind, they will get a subpoena from the committee requiring them, compelling them to be here.
Time then becomes determinative. The problem is, if we're going to bring these people in, let's go. I've made a motion to subpoena these people now pursuant to the rules, and I want to vote on my motion,
you made the
or I
motion?
want someone to move to table it.
You made the motion to subpoena them for the 12th?
I moved under Committee Rule 4, Clause 2M of House Rule 11
I
to
moved to
require the
table.
attendance.
I move to table the.
That's fine.
I
Let's take a
second
vote.
that.
It's not debatable.
So, in simple terms, Matt Gaetz wanted to rush things that were already set to happen, but he ended up withdrawing his demand after a little time out. His attempt to subpoena Alvin Bragg and Matthew Colangelo, despite their prior commitment to testify, was a desperate ploy to grab attention and favor in the red, beady eyes of Donald Trump. Gaetz's disregard for protocol and reason painted him as a sellout, willing to sacrifice integrity for the moment in Trump's shadow. His track record, including his association with Joel Greenberg and their shenanigans, cast a dark shadow on his credibility. Gaetz's theatrics and unfounded accusations against Hunter Biden and the FBI were nothing but a smokescreen to distract from his own scandals and failures. In the end, Gaetz's own colleague, Jim Jordan, had to rein him in, showing even his allies find his antics too extreme. Gaetz, as a lawmaker, has been marred by incompetence and obstructionism, a stark reminder of how unfit he is to serve this nation's interests. Gaetz's legacy will be one of shameless pandering and hollow gestures, a cautionary tale of how blind loyalty can lead to a downward spiral, and Matt Gaetz is at the bottom of the barrel, and that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.